Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to The Deal with D and J. Co-host today, Jacob Pryor. Alongside me today, I got Will from Trailer Park Sports Network, TPSN. Appreciate you jumping on, having you on the show. It's a blast to have you. Can't wait to break everything down. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. It feels good to be done traveling for a little while. That was fun. Like, it was cool to go to some games, but man, I am tired. I am exhausted. Playoff hockey is a different breed, but going to a couple of games wore me out.
I was gonna say you were traveling all over the place, feeling the jet lag now. So you went from what? You're in Alabama. So where's the closest airport to you? Where'd you fly out of?
I flew out of Huntsville.
So you got to go down that.
Yeah, so I went from Huntsville to Atlanta to Raleigh, from Raleigh to LA, from LA to Atlanta back to Huntsville.
Those must have been. That's a tough day, tough couple days of flying.
Yeah, what? Exhausted.
Yeah, man. Well, we'll dive into some NHL playoffs later on in the show, but we just had the NFL draft happen this past weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Obviously, the first round Thursday, the biggest thing we saw, obviously, Shador falling out, but there was a lot of surprises as well. I think the biggest surprise we got to talk about is Jacksonville jumping up from 5-2 to take Travis Hunter. Jacksonville's a team that has always been a forgettable franchise, I bet, I guess is the best way to describe it. And, they jump up from 5-2. They lose next year's first round pick to go get their guy. And it's Gladstone's making a name for himself. But, geez, that was not a move.
All work itself out depending on how much Travis Hunter can do. Like, if Travis Hunter genuinely can play both sides of the football, we'll look back at it, it does not matter at all. Now, if he is a guy that can only get, a few snaps here and there, depending on which side, because I don't think he's going to play both sides like he did in college. It's going to be either you play full-time DB and you have packages in at wide receiver, or you play full-time wide receiver, you got packages in on defense. They're not going to let him do both full-time. He's way too valuable to let him do that. So depending on how much he can produce, it's okay. It is what it is. It's crazy to think about, to give up that much for a wide receiver / DB. But it takes a lot of pressure off of Trevor Lawrence to be the major superstar. Because now all of the cameras are off of you. You can do what you do. You can regularly be Trevor Lawrence again. All the cameras are going to be on this guy.
I agree completely. I used to work for the Jacksonville Jags back in college, and for 2 seasons, and granted, I saw 1 home win in 2 years. Those are the years of Jacksonville that I was at. But it just takes a lot off Trevor Lawrence, not only, like you mentioned, the spotlight, but hopefully the offensive side of the ball, where they get a secondary receiver with Brian Thomas Jr. And defensively, I think Cohen has said they're going to work him in packages to start, and then once he builds up his endurance, he's going to kind of eventually make his way towards playing hopefully full-time both sides of the ball. But from what I've seen, it's basically basically once it's 20 yards and in, once they're in the red zone, he's in, but everything in between that, it's not going to be all that. I mean, Giants got Abdul Carter. Abdul Carter's got an absurd amount of I give him a lot of balls for going to ask Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor for that number 56 on the Giants. The most legendary defensive player in that franchise's history. And he's I give him the credit. But
I like Abdul Carter.
He's
I think in a world where a quarterback didn't have to go off the board first, like a team that didn't genuinely need a quarterback, I think he's the first player off the board.
I will say I'm surprised the Browns didn't hold firm at 2, because imagine the pairing of Myles Garrett and Abdul Carter on the other side of the ball for the Browns. Disgusting. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
I think the Browns had a pretty good draft overall.
I will say their first 3 picks I was vibing with. Mason Graham, defensive tackle, Michigan. This guy's nasty. He's a run stuffer. gets through everything. He had. We were talking on our mock draft episode. He has the safest floor.
Yeah.
Then you look at round 2, they get Carson Schweswager. I'm gonna mispronounce that, but linebacker out of UCLA. He's really came on this past season, especially. And then they go get Quinshon Judkins, and it's like addressing all different types of needs.
Through those 3 picks, I was like, wait, hold on. You guys just cooked.
Yeah,
you guys are cooked here.
You kind of pause, and it's like the meme where the guy holds his arm out, and it's like Woody being like, somebody cooked here.
He's like 100%.
And then this is where we obviously see the Shedeur, and then they get this guy too, Harold Fannin Jr. This guy had I forget what his stats were, but he was, here we go. He led the country in receptions with 117 at Bowling Green, and he had over 1,500 yards that year in 2024. And they get him at the tight end, which is great. And then this is where I felt like it got shaky for me for the Browns, was you went Gabriel, Sampson, and then Shedeur to finish your draft, which I'm not hating, but I was also like, we're doubling up on quarterback and running back. I found that.
I somewhat like the Dylan Sampson pick. I do like that one because I feel like that's good to have depth at running back. But if you knew you were going to take Shedeur, why take Dylan Gabriel? That's the one that really I don't get. If you knew you were going to take him, why didn't you just take him and then not take another quarterback?
And then they show the reaction of the war room, and these dudes are just like their hand got forced into drafting Shedeur. Because genuinely, I don't know where he was going to go if it wasn't for Cleveland or Pittsburgh, and neither one of them wanted him until.
Dude, and Pittsburgh seems like they're sold on Rodgers. Okay, one of 2 things I see. They're either sold on the fact that Aaron Rodgers is going to come to Pittsburgh, or they're just like, screw it, we're going to be buns this year, and we're just going to get someone in next year's quarterback.
Go get Arch Manning if he comes out.
And here's my thing. Here's another thing when it comes to the Shedeur situation, right? I won't be pissed off until I see the Arch Manning situation. If that is handled differently, then I'll be mad about it. Then I'll be like, okay, see, now they're colluding or this, that, and the third. I'm not gonna. Maybe he read Mein Kampf in one of those interviews.
Dude, the stories about Shedeur that came out was like, he's the most cocky SOB I've ever met. He's so arrogant. He's all this. And then it's like, okay, but we've known that.
Cam Ward.
We've known that. He's a Sanders. Dion instills ultimate confidence in his kids to do anything.
I think we forgot how much the league hates his dad.
Yeah, that's another thing.
That's what it has to be. I feel like it can't be Shedeur at this point. Because,
no. I feel
we knew this.
You mentioned Cam Ward also is super confident in his skills, but it just also once they drafted Dylan Gabriel, I was like, something's up here. Does everybody just hate Shedeur out of nowhere when everybody's telling us he's a top 10, top 20 prospect?
Okay, him falling out of the first, I full and well understood that. I understood that because in my opinion, after Cam Ward, there were no quarterbacks that should have won the first round. Seeing Jackson Dart go in the first, I was like, okay. You can make an argument for that, and I'll hear you out. I feel like you still probably could have got him in the second if you really wanted him that bad. I feel like he could have won the second round. It is where it is. He's a first round quarterback, and so I understood Shedeur falling through the first. Seeing him fall through the second was yo, Pittsburgh? What? Okay. Cleveland, you guys passed on him in the first round. I understood that. I can see that. In the second round, too? And then you pass on him again in the third? What is happening? What?
And then Tyler Shuck gets drafted 40 to the Saints, and it's if you're not sure about Derek Carr's future, is a 26-year-old college quarterback your answer? as
You
well.
really want a 26-year-old rookie?
26-year-old rookie who did you see the combine throw? Like,
God.
and, and it's like he also has injury history, and it's like people are like, well, they're freak injuries, they're bone breaks, and all this, and it's like, okay, but like that's wear and tear, bro. Like I said the same thing when I was 8 years old about Sam Darnold to my grandfather. I was like, bro's made of glass because all he does is get hurt in college. Like it's one of those things where like the injuries speak for themselves as well for Tyler Shuck. And then Jalen Milroe, I can make the argument for because he went to Seattle where they're going to have Sam Darnold for at least 2 years. And he's going to sit behind Sam Darnold and learn an offense. And it's almost like a Joe Michael Lamar situation almost.
We're like, dude, if Jalen Milroe's upside, you could have made an argument for him in the high second. Like if he would have went in the second round, or like even if he would have been the last pick of the first, you could have made an argument simply because of his athletic upside. Like, well, dude, if you teach him how to throw the football just a little bit more consistently, you basically have Lamar Jackson. So it's like, I can understand picking him up, right? There's Tyler, I don't know. And Dylan Gabriel, okay, I like Dylan Gabriel. I think he was a pretty good quarterback, but him before Shador's mind-blowing. Jackson Dart is also an interesting one to me because, like, dude, you played in a system where you didn't have to make complicated you just ran an RPO system. So like I don't actually know how well you have an ability to see the field.
Yeah, with Dart, it almost felt like the cop I gave him was like on some things, it's like looking at a poor man's Josh Allen in terms of like he's physical, he'll run and put his shoulder down. Sometimes to the detriment of the team, but he can also make a good throw. Obviously, he doesn't have the arm power of Allen, but then like you look at some games, like you look at the game against Florida, and this man was dumbfounded by complex secondaries, and he was like, I don't know where I'm throwing. He couldn't figure out the reads. He couldn't figure out the second read or the second guy to go to. And then yet the Giants traded up to go get him. And I'm like, I think you could have waited at 34. I think they had 34. I was like, you could have just waited there and gotten Jackson Dart because unless the only theory or rumor that I saw was that the Rams were going to take Dart and have him be the successor to Stafford.
That's what I heard too. That's the only reason I can think of as to why they were like, we got to go get him because he's not going to be available because the Rams want him. Yeah. So I heard the exact same thing and I was like, that does make sense as to why he got picked up in the first. This was a relatively weak quarterback class. He could have won the second round. I feel like as a class in itself, there was no like transcendent guy where I'm like, oh shit, like this. Yeah, I mean, Travis Hunter, yeah, I think you can put him up there. I think Abdul Carter's definitely up there too. Other than that, this little like, yeah, guy where I feel like that can just like single-handedly like boost a franchise.
Yeah, I think Abdul Carter, speaking of, like, I want to talk about the Giants because you mentioned the Browns had a great draft. I thought the Giants had a phenomenal draft. You got Abdul Carter, you got Jackson Dart, which hate it or love it, it is what it is. But then they go and get Darius Alexander, the D tackle out of Toledo, who's a stud. And then they get Cam Scatterbo, who this guy's going to run through people's faces. He's going to mess everybody up in that New York weather when it gets cold. This guy's just going to be churning 10 yards after contact. He's just going to eat hits. So I thought they did pretty good. But, like, this class was, I think Daniel Jeremiah said it best on, like, part of my take. He says it's a bunch of starters, not stars. Whereas we're going to see a lot of guys who are really solid, but nothing crazy. What was the not the craziest, what was the first round pick that maybe surprised you the most in terms of either teams trading up, trading back, the player they selected?
Yeah, I don't hate the pick because in my mind, it kind of just cements the fact that Carolina wants to help out Bryce Young. And they're like, dude, we understand we're probably not going to be great in the next couple of years. So, like, let's use our first round pick to help out our quarterback. And then, like, they still ended up getting some great defensive guys after the fact. So, like, I saw people mad after that pick, and I was like, dude, Wait until like the fourth or fifth round of this draft to be pissed off. And they ended up like, I forgot who else they picked up, but they ended up like having a damn good draft after the fact. So I was like, yo, they're helping out Bryce. That's all I cared about. I feel like they're committed to him.
Yeah, they took, I think, Nick Scouton, edge out of UCLA in round 2 or 3 in round 2, which is a great, like, you had to go address the defensive line, and Scouton's like is a good one to go off of. And then they got another edge rusher, Princely. I'm not even going to attempt that last name, but out of Ole Miss, like, they went and addressed D line. And also, if you know you're not going to be able to stop people, I just say take the Big 12 approach and just score a bajillion points and just have fun. Like, listen, man, defense is going to be bad. That's what Oklahoma did. Whatever they had when Lincoln Riley was there, they were like, dang, dude, we're not going to be able to play any defense, but we're going to be able to drop 50 on your head, and they got to outscore that.
I just saw. So they snagged Trevor Etienne and Lathan Ransom as well. See, like, getting Lathan Ransom is a great pick. That's a huge pickup to their secondary. And I feel like I really like Trevor Etienne as well.
Trevor Etienne, going mobile again. I'm back in my spot. Trevor Etienne, to me, I thought is a nice little addition because Jonathan Brooks, their, I think, second rounder last year, their running back, he ain't gonna. He had another ACL injury. He's not gonna play this year. And then outside of that, you have Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle, who are pass catching back. So now you get a true north-south runner in that backfield. So I thought that was a really solid pick there.
Like Trevor Etienne, Rico Dowdle, Chuba Hubbard. I feel like that's going to be a pretty good backfield right there.
Dude, Denver's secondary with Jahade Barrett and Patrick Schertz.
I love it. I love that pick. That was probably my favorite pick.
It's gonna be so fast.
But you pair one of the best corners in the league with a great first round pick corner. Oh man.
It's gonna be curtains for a lot of teams. And I'm gonna say like in that AFC West is just so competitive because they're competing with the Chiefs. It's like, well, we might not be able to stop the Chiefs, but we can slow them down. And we're going to shut down the other two, and we're just going to, like, be gritty and get into the playoffs with Bo Nix. And then they got, I was going to say Amari Hampton, but he went to the Chargers. But then they got R.J. Harvey, who this guy's also, I enjoyed watching him play at UCF. He was like a projected fourth rounder, and he ended up going in a second. But this guy gets north to south, runs through gaps. Sean Payton's going to love him. But Jahade Barron and Patrick Surtain is so scary of a thought to me. I'm like, this is terrifying.
Jahade Barron is one of my favorite players in the whole class. Damn, I forgot what team he got picked up by. Hold on. There was a player right around from where I live that got drafted second round this year.
Go ahead, look him up.
I do like the Broncos draft though. They kind of, I don't think there was a single team that like there were no like winners and losers of this draft. Skateboard those like everybody.
I had one clear loser, and it was the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, I'll give you that one.
Because you're going to trade away Jalen Ramsey, and you draft a defensive tackle at 13 with Jahade Barron or Will Johnson still on the board, and it's like, okay. And then it didn't address corner until I think round 3, I believe. I thought they were like a very clear. Yeah, they went D tackle, hard, D tackle. Finally got their corner. Then they got a running back, and then they drafted Quinn Ewers. And I feel bad for Quinn Ewers. This man just lost out on an entire bag. Man was supposed to get paid like $8 million to some school if he transferred. And instead, he's going to make like the rookie minimum. Like, yikes!
I like the Jags. That's new. It was fucking. I knew it was Jacksonville. It was Caleb Ransall. Got picked up by the Jacksonville.
Yes, guy out of Tulane. I love that pick.
Yeah, he's from around here.
Love that pick from the Jags in round 3. I would probably say my Will Campbell going to the Patriots. This guy being in a Mike Vrabel system, I cannot wait to watch him play. After he came out, he's like, I'm gonna fight and die to protect Drake May with everything I got. And I'm like, yeah, this is a dude that
This is a yeah.
Have you seen some of his other quotes? This guy's a quote factory. He was talking about, he was like, we have a saying. This was a presser out of LSU. He was like, we have a saying in the O lineman room. He goes, if DN gets a sack a game, 12 games a year, he's probably gonna be drafted top 10. If you're an O lineman, you give up a sack a game, 12 games a year. He goes, you're gonna go work at Amazon.
Yeah.
Dropping facts. Outside of that, first round kind of played out how I thought it would. Falcons traded back up for James Pierce, which was bizarre, but it is what it is with them.
There were some, like, man, the Travis Hunter pick is going to be one I think about for a very long time because it all depends on, like, can he survive playing, but, like, it's not even one of those, like, can he play? We know he can play both sides of the football.
Can he do it?
Can he survive?
At the height, like,
Yeah.
and the problem is, and even in college, there's so many clips of him just getting burned. Like, too, like he's not a lockdown corner by any means. He's a coverage guy. Put him in coverage. He's a ball hawk. But like you're expecting him to go man on man with CeeDee Lamb or Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase after he just did a team play drive marching down the field with Trevor Lawrence.
Like,
I don't see that.
and look, my thing is, if he genuinely did plan to play both sides of the ball, if I'm an OC, every time I see him, every single person that lines up on him, you're running a go route. You run him off. Run him off. I don't care what the play. Run him off. Just run him off. So whenever he goes on offense, he's ineffective because all he's doing is running. He's just chasing you around the field all day.
He's just doing sprints. He's just doing He's just doing sprints the whole time. Yeah. I thought I'm just gonna be. I do want to get your opinion on one thing here. Colston Loveland was the first tight end off the board instead of Tyler Warren. What'd you kind of make in that?
Yeah, it blew my mind. Tyler Warren I thought he was a gem.
I thought you couldn't. It was like can't miss could get, and yet the Bears did the most Bears thing ever.
You know, maybe he is a better run blocker. Maybe it's one of those things. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you.
I don't know.
The Bears hate winning, maybe. Like,
then they got Luther Burden to an already crowded wide receiver, so that was cool. And then they finally got an offensive lineman and then a D tackle in the second. So they kind of did some things, but I was like, you already have Rome and DJ Moore, and then you drafted Luther Burton. It just tells me that they're going to move on from DJ Moore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think it kind of encapsulates the NFL draft in a nutshell. So the real reason why I wanted Will on, because he has been a hockey man as of late. He's gone through this whole journey. Will, kind of want you to give our listeners here a little bit about your hockey journey, about how you found your team, how you kind of discovered the sport, and how you're kind of like loving the NHL playoffs right now. And, you know, you had those two cool opportunities to go see him in person.
Dude, so finding hockey was interesting because it was just like, it was during Four Nations, and, you know, I'm watching USA, Canada, and they're throwing hands 2 seconds into the game. And I'm like, hey, they get active. I like this. Hockey players care about their sport. So I started watching, and people told me, you know, playoff hockey is more electric than anything else. So I was like, all right. I can't wait till we get to playoff hockey. But I had to find a team to watch. So, you know, I was looking for teams with nice sweaters and, you know, good young talent, front office competency, and like good vibes. And I fell on the San Jose Sharks and the Carolina Hurricanes because like, I like to go east and west.
Yes.
So like those are the two teams I'm rocking with right now. I mean, I do very much enjoy a lot of teams though. I like the LA Kings. Went to go watch them play against the Edmonton Oilers game 2 of the playoffs. Dude, crypto is rocking. Playoff hockey is different. Like it really is. And dude, I also like the Blues. I really want them to beat the Jets. That would be beautiful.
Love it.
would be beautiful. I just think that'd be awesome. Usually I say I don't like St. Louis sports teams. I've said that before, but I like the Blues. I like the Blues.
Yeah, yeah, man. I love it because the way I discovered you was you were doing your little journey, and you were like, the future is teal, the future is teal, and I'm like, dude, Celebrini and Will Smith. I work in college at athletics, and before I work at Baylor, where I work now, I was at UMass, and I was in charge of college hockey. I was in charge of the hockey program, marketing wise, and dude, watching Celebrini play it wasn't fair. He was a man amongst boys. Will Smith with Ryan Leonard and Cutter Gauthier. I'm saying a bunch of names, but like it was watching like they're 19, but they're on just another echelon of talent. I kid you not.
Different.
I watched Celebrini dice up. He took a puck coast to coast, diced up three guys, and went backhand on our goalie. And I was like, this is different. This is different. This is different. I mean, so obviously you went to Carolina and then you went to LA. Talk to me a little bit about the difference between both venues. I'm not going to ask you to pick your favorite because that won't be fair. But I mean, I went to the Dallas Stars game one against the Avalanche, and I'll tell you what, that I commented on one of your videos. I'm like, Dallas has got to get you to a game because it is unreal in Dallas the what they do down there to get the fans fired up.
Man, I'll start with Carolina. That place is electric because you can tell it's a place where they care about hockey because there's not many other things to like care about, like others, like sports wise. There's not many other things for you to be like, oh, like, nah, I don't care about the Canes because I'm watching it. No, like, there's not much else around there. You're watching hockey. You're all in. So, like, their fans, dude, I love the fans. They're probably some of my favorite fans in the whole league. Like, I love the Canes fans.
Did you know about the siren beforehand?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm very happy. I knew about the siren beforehand because like we're tailgating before the game, and just like every few minutes, it's just like a siren cranks up, and you're just like, never mind, never mind, never mind, never mind. All right, word. Some crazy fans down the road. Um, dude, they love it, and Kane scored early, man. That place is deafening. Like, I couldn't imagine being a player whenever you let up an early goal because, like, they let you hear it. They let you hear about it. And, like, they're going, and especially because it's the playoffs, they're fucking juiced.
They're just on a different level of just like adrenaline that like is insane. Like they come out and they're just throwing their bodies too. They don't care about their own safety. They don't care about the other guy's safety.
No,
No,
they
they're
definitely don't care.
they're just throwing their bodies around, laying the hits, and I'm just like, it's the best. The atmospheres are amazing. The chants are amazing. Like when I was in Dallas, everybody got a bracelet that like lit up, and it was like in tune to like the music and everything. And dude, it was so loud that like my Apple Watch was like, you need to leave. Otherwise, you're gonna have like ear damage for the rest of your life. I'm like, so worth it. I do not care. And these guys come out, and unfortunately, like Colorado came out and just like they just pumped us, but it was unreal that atmosphere. And then you got to go to crypto, and I saw you were in a suite lit in lavish with all these big timers, and I was like, look at that, look, I was like, we haven't met, but I was like, look at this guy. This guy's living it up. He just failed hockey a couple months ago. Now he's living lavish in crypto. I was like, this is how it's supposed to be. I'm like, this is how it's supposed to be. I love it.
Dude, freaking Marshawn Lynch, Todd Gurley, Najee, all in a VIP suite. And I'm sitting there like, no way. And we're just here watching the hike. I'm like, this is crazy. But man, crypto, see, I did not expect it to be the way that it was, just considering like you have the NBA, like you have the Lakers, and they're also like going on right now. I didn't expect LA fans to care about hockey the way that they do. Dude, that place was rocking too. Like, especially like, dude, they were putting belt to ass. Like dude, man, it's been a great series. and they had the harmonicas for the national anthem pregame. They better have them booked for Game 5, or they might be in trouble.
That's my biggest thing was like the first one, I was like harmonica. I was like, what the heck is this? And then they brought him back, and I was like, this is amazing.
No, they're gonna keep doing it because it's a good luck charm.
Oh, like you have
I
to.
guarantee it. Like they have jerseys now.
Oh my gosh,
They gave them their own jerseys now.
dude.
Because like for Game 1, they just like brought them out just like as a special thing, and then they won, and the fans were like,
Bring it back.
"Oh yeah!" And then they gave them freaking jerseys. They have their own jerseys now.
And then they're like, and then they get called out again. The crowd goes wild. I'll tell you what,
The crowd went nuts.
this oil.
When they saw the harmonicas, they went nuts. Also, I haven't even told like about the whole experience because I haven't even like made the YouTube video yet. But I was in the penalty box for warm-ups. So like, dude, they are so much faster just like in person. You know who's really a lot faster in person? McDavid. Oh my God. Because like I'm in the penalty box, like I'm real deal, just like same level as the oh my God, that man is fast.
So like,
He is different.
I never saw McKinnon or McCarr play in person before. And every time a McKinnon, they would get the power play and they would run this play where they would set it up and then throw the puck back to McKinnon, who's got a full head of speed. And he's just like McDavid. Dices through everybody, can get to the net, and you're just like, it's unbelievable how fast he can get through.
He's just different.
Some of them they're unbelievable. So you've been locked into Kings Oilers. This series is just last night. You know, when we're recording, this was a Sunday night game, but it just seems like Edmonton finds a way to come back from the dead minus Game 1, where they came back, got there, scored the goal to send it to overtime, and then they punch it in overtime to tie the series. And it's unbelievable what Edmonton's doing. They could be easily 3-1 Edmonton right now if they didn't give up a goal 20 seconds later in Game 1.
Yeah, this could also be 3. Yeah, like dude, this series is just like a coin flip right now. And also, last night it seemed like Darcy Kemper was the only freaking person that wanted to win in overtime.
Yeah.
Like, if they played defense in the third period, they'd be up 3. They probably would have swept. If they played defense in the third period, they probably could have swept.
It's like they run out of juice a little bit too, like, and they shouldn't though. They're a pretty young team minus Drew Doughty on the defense, but like, it also is just like it's also hard to handle 14 minutes of McDavid and Draisaitl ice time in the third period because those guys don't come off at all. They come off, they get water, they're back on. Like they're on every other shift, just going.
Yeah, they're different.
Me personally, I'm loving the Connor Hellebuck collapse right now. Personally,
oh yeah, dude, it's that what President's Trophy or whatever.
Yeah, it's the trophy curse.
Dude, you shouldn't win it. Somebody told me whenever I first started watching hockey, they were like, "Yo, whoever wins that, just like assume they're cooked in the playoffs."
Yeah. The biggest example of that, I would say, was Tampa Bay in 2018 broke the record for most points ever, like, by a team, like, the point standings. And I think they were, like, one off the most wins ever in the NHL history or whatever it was. And then they go and get swept by Columbus in the first playoffs.
Right? Because that makes a bunch of sense.
Plus, like, it makes no sense. It's just like, yeah, the fan base was so happy, and instead they just got their hearts ripped out, and then Tampa gave them like we didn't expect this to happen. It's like, oh, really? Like they put out a notes app graphic essentially apologizing to the fans.
Like, guys, I'm sorry we got swept.
Sorry we couldn't score because we forgot how to do our jobs and play our profession. I'm really the biggest collapse I'm hoping for is a Toronto collapse because that just makes my entire day.
I want them to make it out of the first round.
Yeah, I do.
I just wanted to make another first round just so they can be like, yeah, give their fans a little something else to like be hype about, and then like lose to the Panthers in the second round because like I think the Panthers are gonna make it.
Dude, talk about a chippy series. Did you see the hit on Tom Wilson delivered last night?
Oh man, they're getting after it. I like it.
They're just throwing bodies. Dude, the brawl onto the bench was like the best thing I've ever saw. I was like, this is
You
amazing.
need more like we need more of that.
Yeah, 100%. I will say the NHL has done a really good job of like promoting their star players, like, and like really hyping up the NHL playoffs. Cause like, if you're not like you mentioned before we jumped on, like, if you're not an NBA fan, like, you're not watching NBA basketball right now.
No, you don't watch until the conference finals.
No, like, you don't. But the first round of the NHL playoffs is like the best thing you'll ever watch because it's just so freaking competitive. These guys,
It's
they lay it all out there, man. It's awesome.
oh yeah, I love it.
Heck yeah.
Like it's every single night is a good game. Like even the blowouts have been good games. Like even whenever the Blues won 7-2, that was still a good game. That was still a pretty highly competitive game. It's not like whenever like somebody gets blown out in a basketball game, it's like I don't want to watch this anymore. But like even if somebody's down like 5-2 in a hockey game, that other team is still sitting there. Yeah, like they're still sitting there like, dude, all we gotta do is get one. We just gotta
do is get one.
We just gotta get one.
His worst lead in hockey is a 2-goal lead. Always.
It's always
Little Sharks lore for you. When the Sharks were in the playoffs in, I want to say 2017 or 18, they played the Vegas Golden Knights, and they were down. I think 5-1. They got a 5-minute major penalty. The Knights did, and the Sharks scored 5 goals on that 5-minute major and ended up winning that game, coming back and winning that game. Like anything can happen in hockey. It's unbelievable.
yeah. Like hockey's one of those. I was thinking about what was it? 17 Blackhawks Bruins.
Yeah.
2 goals in 17 seconds.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It's
Anything can happen, dude. Well, I appreciate you. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. Try to keep it between 30 and 45 minutes here, but I appreciate you jumping on, talking some NFL, some hockey. I love watching this content. I want all the viewers, the listeners, go follow TPSN, Trailer Park Sports Network. He's on Instagram. You're on Twitter, TikTok. He's got a YouTube. Follow them all. Really appreciate you jumping on, Will. And I'll tell you what, lacrosse, I'm also a big lax dude, so I can't wait for NCAA lax to get down here. Like, I also like worked lacrosse at UMass, and I'm like, this sport also just gets, talking about dudes that get after it, these guys get after it. So,
yeah, they go hard.
Can't wait to maybe have you on again later down the line, but I appreciate you jumping on today, and best of luck to you. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Appreciate it.